He does not want to return to the team, according to Adam Schefter. Packers GM Brian Gutekunst asked about Rodgers last night. Listen up, y'all.
Obviously, he's our quarterback. He's our leader. We've been working through this for a little while now, and I just think it may take some time, but he's the guy that kind of makes this thing go. So he gives us the best chance to win, and we're not going to trade Aaron Rodgers.
Let me just remind you who we're dealing with. This is a Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl MVP, 3-time regular season MVP. Let's not forget, they drafted a quarterback in the first round of 2020. Ooh. I will leave you with that. I said chip on his shoulder. I think I meant to say boulder on his shoulder. Stephen A., should Rodgers refuse to play for the Green Bay Packers?
Yes, absolutely, without question. I mean, he should be done with them. He should listen. Let me put into perspective how much I really, really feel about this, y'all. Let me make sure I look into the camera and say this to all of y'all right now while y'all looking at me. If I were Aaron Rodgers, I would have walked off the field at the NFC Championship game. I would have walked into the locker room. I would have shook my teammates' hands, and I would have said goodbye. And I never would have spoken to the Green Bay Packers again, if I could pull that off. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This is Aaron Rodgers. When you took the ball, that was the final straw. Now, I've said it on many occasions. When you go up to this, when you take the ball out of this man's hands and give it, Tom Brady's on the other sideline, and you say, Tom Brady, all you need is a first down, 1 or 2 first downs. That's all you need. You don't need a field goal. You don't need a touchdown. You don't even need to drive down the field. All you need is 2 first downs, and you seal the deal unless you keep the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands and you decide to take that position, to take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. I'm done with you. I'm absolutely done with you if I'm Aaron Rodgers and I'm thinking about Matt LaFleur. That's the reality of the situation. And then Matt LaFleur confessed and acknowledged he never really discussed it with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was operating thinking he had 4 chances to get into the end zone. He never thought for 1 second that the ball would be taken out of his hands after 3rd down. That's what they did. It's an unforgivable, unconscionable decision that happened. But also what is also unconscionable? Years earlier, I'm not asking y'all. I'm not speculating. I'm telling you what I know. Y'all figure out how. Aaron Rodgers goes into management before Matt LaFleur ever became the coach and was making suggestions about what he wanted to happen. And they essentially told him to get the hell out, go out there and play. We make the decisions up here. You ain't got anything to do with this. They have disrespected this man. They have underappreciated this man. They have thrown him to the wolves while saddling him with the responsibility of keeping this franchise relevant. They have not appreciated him by any stretch of the imagination. They have taken him for granted. And then, as Dan Orlovsky tweeted, the last 10 picks or so, 9 of them were defensive players over the last 10 years in the first round. And the one offensive player you drafted was his replacement. It's just disrespectful. As far as I'm concerned, he should tell them to kick rocks. If I was him, I wouldn't even return their calls. I wouldn't show up to training camp. I'd host Jeopardy. I'd do anything but play for the Green Bay Packers. He shouldn't even look at them, let alone play for them.
Oh, I'd love to disagree with you, but I can't. This is a debate show, but there's no debate here. The Packers have done the following, and Dan Orlovsky's tweet was great. Defense, 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 defense. Trade up for his replacement defense. What are they, The issue is this. They were smart in a way, the Packers, if you take the human element out of it. They were smart because they go, okay, we have an all-world quarterback. Until Patrick Mahomes came along, there was never anything like Aaron Rodgers. So let's take advantage of that. We don't need to worry about the offense as much. He's got that. We can focus on the defense. And every year, we can roll into the season as among the Super Bowl favorites and with a well-balanced team a lot of years. And that's not stupid. That's smart, actually, right? Take advantage of in a salary cap league, a hard cap league, where everyone's dealing with the same exact resource, identical resources. What do you do? How do you get an advantage? Well, we have a big advantage at the most important position. Let's now funnel resources toward other positions. That's good in theory. That's good if you're dealing with computers or robots or some abstract theory. But in reality, when you're dealing with human beings, you're just kind of steamrolling them. So trading up to draft his replacement without consulting him, the Packers are acting as though these are the old days. They're not. All the rules changes in the NFL that have favored the quarterbacks. You can't breathe on the quarterback. Stephen A., I remember when the Patriots and the Chiefs knew they may have to play in the AFC Championship game, Patrick Mahomes' first year as starter, and they wound up playing in that game. There was a game in Kansas City where the linebacker had Tom Brady wrapped up. And because he didn't want a roughing the passer penalty, he didn't know what was going on with Brady. What if he got rid of the ball? He let go. And Brady literally walked into the end zone with those kind of stakes because that's how the quarterback is taken care of. So once you do that and you've elevated the importance of the offense and of the quarterback, what we've seen in the modern NFL, our quarterbacks are now like NBA superstars just about. They're calling shots. They have outsized importance. The Packers are acting as though in the 60s, shut up, be grateful, and go do your job. It ain't that anymore. It's not, Bart Starr or even Brett Favre era we're talking about. It's a new era, and they blew it.
You could talk about the new era, and I'm not disagreeing with that, Max Kellerman, but you know what? There's something to be said about that human element that you brought up. Listen, man, it could be corporate America. When you have somebody that is a high-end producer, and they go out and they go about the business of producing on an exceptional level, you show appreciation for that. You don't minimize them. You don't try to act like they're just anybody else. That's one of the things that I think is a problem in society today. We live in a very capitalistic society. We understand that. But it's like everybody wants things to be equal. No, it's not equal for everybody. Aaron Rodgers is not Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers isn't anybody on the Green Bay Packers. He's Aaron freaking Rodgers. And it's almost like they have this insatiable appetite to minimize and marginalize him in such a way that you reduce his cachet because, God forbid, you stand back and recognize that this brother just ain't anybody. You don't go out on the field and act like he's just anybody. When it comes time to negotiation and you've got contract issues to deal with, he's not just anybody. You don't pay everybody what you pay him. You don't ask everybody to carry the load that he carries. There's something to be said about, at the end of the day, being able to look him in the face and say, we know who the hell you are, and we have treated you accordingly. They haven't done that. And that is the crime in all of this. They haven't done it while asking him to do so much of what he has done. And even though Matt LaFleur just got there, and he's not nearly the culprit, the organization has been against Aaron Rodgers for years. He's not innocent in all of this because of that NFC Championship game. That NFC Championship game, that's not Gutekunst or anybody else for the Green Bay Packers saying to take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands on a 4th down with Tom Brady on the other sideline and you less than 10 yards away from a touchdown. That's not that. That was Matt LaFleur. And the fact that Matt LaFleur made that decision lumps him in right with the rest of them. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm cordial. I'm cordial about non-football related matters. I'm not going to walk by you and not say hello or anything like that. But as it pertains to football, I would have nothing to say to them. I wouldn't even go to their facilities. I wouldn't look at them. If we weren't on national television, I'd give them the finger. I'm telling you. That's how I feel about the Green Bay Packers.
Well, but Molly, they kind of did the same. They kind of gave him the finger in a way. That's
what I'm saying.
This is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. You said they're acting like they don't know who he is. I think it's worse than that. I think they're looking at him like, we know exactly who you are, and we don't care. This is the way we do things. Well, Green Bay Packers, you made your bet, lie in it.
Well, when they did this with the Brett Favre situation, it worked out for them, so maybe they feel like it will this time around, too.
Molly, he should have shown up.
I'm with you. Whenever we do the